This episode of the Party Loaded podcast is proudly sponsored by Audible.com. Check out their awesome catalogue of audiobooks with over 180,000 titles to choose from. And be sure to grab a free audiobook on us and support the show by visiting audibletrial.com/endgame.
Let's party.
We're back. Party Loaded, episode 6. We are back from our Christmas break, and we're actually here live and in the flesh for a change. Hey, guys.
I have to look at you. I don't want to look at you.
Tough. You're going to look at me all episode. It's going to be great. So I'm joined here, of course. My name is Luke Vitalik, by Imogen.
Hello.
Whose abode we are commandeering for the purposes of today's episode. And I note that you actually went out and got beanbags and everything.
I did. We are all set.
Despite the fact that you claimed it wasn't going to be happening last time.
Well, there's only one beanbag. We're not filling the whole place with beanbags.
Okay, that's fair.
Dibs.
Jam is here, of course.
Hello.
Cool. And you are going to have to look at me for the next hour. That's awesome. Ollie?
Sucks to you.
Oh, real life.
Cool. So it is Wednesday, the 30th of December. We're recording slightly later than we normally would, but by the time this goes live, I don't think anybody will actually notice the difference. But it's much earlier in the day too, which means we're all probably a little bit more awake than usual. Or are we?
Maybe not.
Sure.
Well, we have had a fair bit of gaming over the last couple of weeks, and despite our relative break tasks and things like that. So what's everyone been doing? Shall we go around the table and start with Jam?
Well, a lot. I've done a lot. So I finally installed Star Wars, Knights of the Old Republic for the first time.
Ooh.
It's been on my list of to-do for a very long time. I've only played about 3 hours so far, but I'm very excited because it's BioWare and it's role-playing, and I've heard that it's awesome toward the end. And very surprising.
Anyone remember what year that was released?
No.
Is that I'm thinking 2012.
I want to say
older than that.
Yeah?
2010. I think
That's
that could be
not
very
the
wrong.
Old Republic, Knights of the Old Republic.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Old,
Yeah.
old, yeah.
Yeah,
Because
even
I
before.
played the Old Republic when it came out and quite enjoyed it, even though I didn't get very far. But yes, that's awesome.
Ollie's going to look it up now.
Yeah, Emo's got it.
Cool, yeah.
I finished Ori and the Blind Forest. Oh my god, the feels.
So can we just have a quick, this is going to be great for audio, quick show of hands who's finished Ori? Who's not got their hand
Oh,
up
look,
right now?
Imogen doesn't have her hand up. The person who recommended it.
Get stuffed. I'll take my time.
It is very worth it, Imogen. It's so good. And I was all blubbery and
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I loved it, but difficult.
Yeah.
Difficult. Every time I got to one of those escape segments, I had to stop playing and pick it up another time because I was just like, no. Got too frustrated, too tired. Thumb stopped working. But good fun. Tales from the Borderlands. After all of your recommendations, I put in a couple of hours. That's frigging hilarious.
I'm going to talk a little bit about this.
Okay, well then I'll continue. I haven't played much. I started yesterday. I'm already absolutely in love because I adored Borderlands. And the humour, oh my god, the humour. Oh, I was laughing out loud like an idiot, legitimately, as though there were people enjoying it with me.
Yeah.
And then yesterday, I also tried for the first time, Keep Talking and Nobody Explodes with Imogen and another friend.
That was good fun. We're kind of awesome at it.
We are.
So, all right, I want to hear about this. This
Okay.
sounds really fun.
So, with very little experience, did we start with me on the bomb? And you had the manual, yes?
Yep.
Okay, so high level overview, how does this thing work?
I have the screen in front of me. I can see this box, which is a bomb. It has a timer counting down. At the start, it's about 5 minutes. A couple of panels on the bomb have puzzles on them. Imogen can't see what I'm seeing. She has a PDF of the diffuser manual. And I have brought copies along for us to play later. Woohoo.
And this manual's like 100 plus pages long.
It's 23 pages.
Oh, okay. That's true, I
A
thought.
bunch of them are for the puzzles themselves. There's some indexes that give you a rundown of some components on the external side of the bomb that will influence how you solve particular puzzles. Right. So she can't see the bomb, I can't see the manual. It's all about communication and it's frigging hilarious. We just, at the start it was a bit But now we're pros, I think.
Yeah, there's one particular puzzle which has horizontal wires, and you have to use a Venn diagram to get your next instruction. So if the Y is red, there's that circle. If the Y is also then got an LED active, there's that circle, or a symbol or not a symbol. And you got to choose a letter within that, and then your letter will tell you what you have to do.
The letter has
and you got to do
further
that 6
instructions.
times. Yeah.
Like, okay, if there's more than 2 batteries, or if there's a vowel in the serial number, do this. And it's just, it's incredible. I can't wait to watch you
The
two
easy
play.
puzzles were very easy to get a hang of. Like,
Yes.
as soon as we started, getting a hang of some of the easier, like the button ones and things like that, that was fairly easy.
But some get lengthier
Yeah.
and more difficult. As the difficulty increases, it'll add different panels, more and more panels. That'll also throw things in, like the alarm next to the bomb will start going off, so you have to put the bomb down to hit the snooze button.
Yeah.
To
Oh,
get back to
right.
the bomb, or the lights will go out.
Yeah, because heaven forbid you fall asleep while defusing a bomb.
But
Just
it's
in case.
really loud. It can affect if there's a sound, like there's a Morse code puzzle.
Okay.
So the alarm can mess with you being able to hear the dots and dashes.
The lights can go off
out
when you're
so
trying
if
to
it's
figure
not-
out a wire puzzle.
Yeah, if it's a visual puzzle purely and not a blinking light, you just have to wait.
Ooh, that sounds bad. Okay, we're going to speedrun this thing later.
I do. It was. Yeah, it's one of those things. I think if we played it enough, I think you would have to make it very difficult.
Yeah, but then they update the manual. So after a certain period of time,
Jesus. They'll
they
change the
can
puzzles.
change the mechanics so that red wire means something else.
Oh, right.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
clever.
So
That's
that-
why you actually put a code in, a verification code of the user manual you're using to determine the puzzle.
Ah.
So
So even
yeah.
if you print it out, I mean, you obviously want to go back and check if you need to reprint it, but yeah.
Well, if you print it out, you use the verification code that's on the cover.
Yeah.
But you'd want to, if you get to know the puzzles inside and out, you definitely want to
Right. So
update now and then.
they could theoretically update the whole game just by updating the manual.
Yes.
Correct.
Well, yeah, but the mechanics of the game themselves would also have to improve.
Yeah,
tweaked.
yeah. Yeah, certainly too.
But I'm sure if they created it with that in mind, they could have made it, I'm guessing, programmed it very simply for them to tweak it for different versions. So yeah, so much fun.
It was fun, and we played over online, so we weren't in the same place.
Yeah.
Traditionally, it's supposed to be played. One person. They got a little picture at the beginning where one person's in like a pillow fort with the laptop, like looking at the bomb. So yes, you have to do this. Beanbag fort. Yeah.
It's what every bomb disposal expert needs, padded cushions.
There's Oculus Rift support too.
Oh,
To
man.
enforce the fact that only one person can see the bomb and everyone else can only see the manual if you've printed it out or put it on a screen.
That would be a bitchin' game to play on VR. That'd be so
It'd be
dope.
hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, sweet. Okay, I'm excited
So
about this now.
yes,
Yep.
we need to play this as a group. I played a little Undertale, but not much. It's funny, but I haven't got very far, and I'm not invested yet.
So is Imogen still... Oh, no, Imogen and Ollie have both finished this, haven't
I
you?
haven't finished it.
Oh, you haven't. Okay, Ollie has. All right, cool.
Ollie powers through everything we suggest.
Sorry.
Winning. I finished episode 3 of Minecraft Story Mode. Yay! I'm still behind you two guys. Got to catch up. Halo 5.
That was fun.
Jumped on yesterday with Imogen and Kate, my sister, and we sucked at the start. We
did suck.
hard.
So did your custom console give you an advantage, do you think?
I got some pretty sweet armor. Not
She
gonna
was
lie.
pimped out.
Coats pimped,
She
which
looked
counts
awesome.
for nothing in the campaign because you play other characters. But I look awesome.
And then we had a tendency someone would Yahoo in and die, and you can get revived. So the rest of us would just run on through,
Oh,
Yeah,
be like, "I'll revive you."
Nothing to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next person, "I'll revive you."
yeah. It's just a pile of us.
And then it got malicious because we got to a point where we're running through, there's no bad guys. Oh yeah, we're navigating the level. Run up to a catwalk, there's a big drop. Objective is down there. So I'm like, oh okay, jump. Whee! Landed. Yeah guys, come down here. Next thing, Imogen's like force punched the ground next to me and smooshed me
Not
to
even.
death.
No. That's not what happened at all.
I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
You jumped off. And you said, come on down. So I'm like, this is a massive drop. I'm going to do an awesome force punch because we haven't used it one single time. Set it all up. And as the ring sort of completes, if you played Halo, you know what I'm talking, as the ring sort of completes itself, you then dive for the punch. And Jamie just wandered and stopped directly in the center of my ring, which she can't see. And so I punched her head down through her spine to her feet.
Mm-hmm.
I knew as soon as it happened though, I did instantly revive you because I killed you instantly.
And then we lost it. And then I recorded it, so there's a blip. There's a little recording I have to show
So what
you
did we
guys
learn
later.
from this activity? Don't loiter in
Oh my
people's
gosh.
rooms.
Don't.
Don't force punch your team.
And also, if Imogen goes, uh-oh, it means she's accidentally launched a grenade. So just run the other way.
The system for aiming and firing is obviously somewhat backwards in my head, and so the button for aim where I think it should be is actually the throw a grenade button.
Hang
So
on.
I'll aim my sniper rifle and then just go boom.
How can the system for aiming and firing be back to front? That
In my
makes no
head. In my head.
Are you like one of those people on the road where you basically change lanes and then indicate?
No.
Is that how your brain works?
No. I am a West
different
Australian,
games,
but I know how to
different
drive. No, but for whatever reason, it's like the fire is the right bumper, and in my head, I think that aim should be the right bumper, and I think aim should be the left bumper, but it's not. That's throw grenade.
Right.
Because I don't play first-person shooters, so everyone's like, it's just the same as every other one.
Yeah.
I've never played one before. So,
Just so I know where the shot's going accurately, I'll blow a huge hole that I can look at.
consequently, I don't aim.
Yeah.
Clears every room really well.
And the vehicle movement in Halo is really different too. because
It's
you use
messed
the
up. I
two-
don't like it.
You use the left knob to go forward or back, and you use the right to face a particular direction, which turns the vehicle.
Oh.
So you're not
It's
actually
like
manually turning the wheels, you're just turning your head and then it follows.
Yeah.
It's really
it turns your
difficult.
point of
That created some hilarious.
Wow. Okay.
Reversing
So, yeah.
is difficult.
Yeah, we have some practice to do, but I think we're going to maybe try again this week. Jump online for some multiplayer, see how we fare against other noobs.
Nice.
It'll be funny. Other than that, just a few little bits and pieces. I played for a tiny bit at a time. Some Rocket League, some HOTS, GTA Online with the snow. Yay, Christmas!
So did that snow, I have to know, actually have any impact on the game, like driving and things
Yeah,
like that?
it affects driving. Yeah.
Okay.
If you don't have the off-road tires, I think you skid around a lot more, and then you kill people with snowballs. It's great.
Oh, okay.
People laugh at me for putting off-road tyres on my cars as standard. No. For the head.
Nice.
Prepared for the Christmas. So yeah, that was my last 2 weeks.
Sweet.
Very game-filled.
Nice. Let's continue around the table. Ollie, you had some new acquisitions which you tend to spend a lot of time with, from what I understand.
Yes. I bought a Wii U with Mario Maker for the
Yeah.
anniversary thing for it for my girlfriend, and we've played a lot of Mario Maker.
So who's better at the designing of the levels, you or her?
She makes better puzzle maps and like better maze maps. I make better like speedrun Twitch maps.
Mm-hmm.
So she's an old like SNES Mario player, whereas I'm Ori and the Blind Forest is my platforming.
Right. Yeah. You know where the pain points are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I played a lot of Mario Maker, a lot of Dr. Mario as well on the Wii, because we've discovered the Wii shop, which sounds really gross. You know, played a little bit of GTA Online with the Christmas update, played a teeny tiny bit of Rocket League with the puck, which was interesting. I started and finished a game called Soma, which I was a bit meh about. It was a really hyped up game that I was a bit underwhelmed with.
So what is Soma?
Soma is a first-person philosophical horror game.
Mm-hmm.
And
Is Soma itself an acronym, or what does it stand for?
Sure.
Okay. Okay.
I probably should know that playing the game, but
Yeah.
whatever. But yeah, it deals with the whole issue of transferring consciousness across machines, like copying essentially your identity, like your brain waves. So your personality can be downloaded into a machine, and the philosophical conundrums or ramifications of that, of what is human at that point. And yeah, it got to the point which every horror game did, where you get angry at the monsters for being there and stopping you getting the puzzle done, rather than scared of the monsters and running away from them. It's just get out of my way, I need to get this puzzle done. Oh god, you're chasing me. Fine, chase. Okay, now I've locked you in a room, off we go. So, I also started and finished Undertale. So again, that was a game that was really hyped up. We talked about last episode, and I was curious to see why it was so hyped up, if it was actually genuinely a good game, or if it was just hyped up because it was addressing various topics and whatnot. And unfortunately for me, I think it was more just it addresses topics that people care about. And look, that's fine. I the combat mechanic is interesting. It's basically like a little bullet storm style game where you have to dodge the attack patterns. And I was like, that's cool. That's I haven't seen that done before. I like that. I did a complete pacifist run. So I did not kill a single thing in the entire game.
Now, I have a question about that, and this is going to be a minor spoiler for anyone who hasn't played it yet. You know how some of the creatures that you face are actually like food items? When you eat them, does that count as a kill?
I don't know because I didn't.
Okay, cool. All right. So I wasn't sure about that because you can still fight them and kill them normally, or you can devour them, and I wasn't sure if that was... I didn't harm anything. Everything was talked to or fled. Yeah, okay, all right. I have a suspicion to do the true pacifist run, you may have to not do that, but I'm not certain. So.
I didn't risk it.
Okay, cool.
Because I wanted to see like how far you can push your pacifist run, because you can do pacifist runs in games like Dishonored did it really well. Deus Ex as well did it really well. So I was curious to see how well this game did it. And yeah, it does the pacifist run mechanic really well in that you can figure out and talk or just flee from all enemies. It was good. But yeah, a lot of people are like, oh man, it's so funny, it's great. I'm like, yes, I can see why a lot of people like the humour. A lot of it is not my style of humour, I think. There's a lot of referential humour in there that I'm like, yes, I get the reference, it's not a funny one though. And look, that's just probably personal taste. So overall for me, it'd be like a 6.5 out of 10, 7 out of 10. It's not like the best RPG ever's that some people claim, and that's fine. How dare people have different opinions?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Don't you know it's the best game ever, according to game FAQs? Anyway.
Yeah, well, they're wrong.
Yeah.
The internet.
The internet's wrong. Believe it or not, the internet is always wrong. So yeah, GTA. Oh yeah, I've air quoted that for everyone. That's not. I can't see.
Ollie's fingers just went up and down repeatedly. Picture that in your mind.
So yeah, I finished Fallout 4.
He just did it again.
I can't stop. Help me.
Do you do this when we normally record as well?
Yes, actually. I'm a very visual speaker. So yeah, I finished Fallout 4.
Stop it.
I can't. It's an addiction.
Make us laugh and everyone else listening is going, huh?
Yeah. What's happening?
No, I think they'll work it out now. Yeah. So finish Fallout 4.
Yeah, so, and by finished, I mean I finished the main quest for the faction line, which was, for me, the Brotherhood of Steel. So that was, I don't know, it's a common complaint with games like that is that you finish the main quest and you can't go back and do the bits and pieces that you're meaning to do. Like, oh, actually, I missed that quest, I probably should go back and do it.
Yeah, there's like a point of no return.
Yeah, essentially. And I felt that Fallout 4 probably should have had that, because I finished the quest. I was like, okay, cool. It's like, come and see me at our base, we'll talk further. I'm like, okay, do a few bits and pieces, go back to the base. I'm like, alright, what's the thing? You can pick your missions now. Do what you like. I'm like, okay, good talk.
Great.
Yeah.
Fist bump out.
Essentially. And I felt like Fallout 4, with the big build up to the end of the quest, then to just be like, yeah, do what you like, off you go, you still got the rest of the world to explore, which, I don't know, it felt like it lacked closure, which, pros and cons for both. Some people are like, oh, but it's amazing because now you can keep exploring the map and whatnot. I'm like, yes, that's fine, but also if you know there's a definitive endpoint, you could do that beforehand.
So would it be safe to assume that there wasn't, as part of the resolution of that storyline, a singular or like number of events that forever changed the landscape?
Oh no, that happened.
That happens?
There was a landscape changing event.
Okay.
Spoilers.
That's not a spoiler. Darth Vader is Luke's dad.
Yeah. I think the statute of limitations is passed on that one.
Yes. But yes, I felt that it lacked a little bit of closure. It was like, here's a cool open world. And don't get me wrong, I liked the game. I dropped a lot of hours into that game. But for me, I felt it lacked closure in the finish. That's just me.
How many power suits?
9 by the end. All done.
All completed?
All completed.
Wow. I do know someone with more, but they're not all complete. So
Interesting.
I just kept finding them. And then the Brotherhood of Steel was like, here, have a power suit. Have another power suit. I'm like, cool, thanks.
great.
They'll just sit here on the deck of the prison until I can go and get them.
Yeah, nice.
I don't know. That's about it, really. Comparatively fewer games, but more hours.
You probably feel pretty good heading into the new year with the Fallout 4 itch scratched somewhat.
Yes.
Cleaned your plate somewhat.
I can now start with new games. Now I need to find new games.
Yes.
Which is the problem.
Yes. There's a little Steam sale that we need to talk a bit about. Anyway.
You've come to the right place.
All right. Mimo, what's on your list of
What I played?
stuffs? Yeah.
I played quite a lot, actually. I remember in our last episode I said that I didn't think I'd have a lot of time for games, but when I started writing them all down,
Suddenly.
I'm a little bit like
2
that
pages
squirrel
later.
from Over the Hedge, I think, with my gameplay. So I played Heroes of the Storm. That's kind of a mainstay at the moment. I did make the decision yesterday, which is a big deal, to play Halo over Heroes of the Storm yesterday. Primarily because I thought it would be down for maintenance, but obviously Blizzard decided in the holiday period that would be a bad plan. But I'm really, really enjoying Heroes. We're getting a bigger group. There's a couple of people who are jumping on who said they'd never play it.
Not me. I'm staying
Not
strong.
Ollie yet. Not yet.
We said people.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's fair. German sound count.
Ooh. Started playing Halo, which is good. My first, I played by myself. So before Jamie came on and helped me, I gave it a go myself. I did okay. I died a lot more when we were playing together, that's for sure.
Because we got foolish and cocky.
Yeah. Plus, Jamie likes to explore
Yes.
everything.
And explode, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'd be like stuck in a corner. Everyone's going, I need help.
She's like, I'll be right back. I'm just looking for data and skulls.
I want a skull. I still haven't
BRB.
found a
Halo
skull.
5 is good for exploration compared to the other Halos.
Lots of nooks.
So
crannies.
many nooks.
Crannies.
Nooks and crannies.
Oh, crannies. I heard grannies. I'm like, no, what?
Granny.
No, don't go exploring them grannies.
I have to say that we started playing yesterday. So we played 6 missions solid yesterday. So we started playing the co-op yesterday, and originally I said to Jamie, like, what's going on? Like, what's the story here? I've never played any of the Halo games. All I know about Halo is Red versus Blue. I shit you not. I've watched all of those.
In the deep end. No.
Well, that's actually probably not a terrible grounding.
No.
So so I started off that way, and then by the end, in some of the cutscenes, and I'm not going to spoil it, but in some of the cutscenes, I was like, but I don't want to do that. What if I don't want to make these choices?
I know you get invested. You're like,
I'm so invested. And then there was one part that Jamie and Kate are busy talking to themselves. I was like, oh no, so-and-so's got to done this. What are we going to do? It didn't work. So I think I'm pretty invested in that. I do have to say that I think it's saving. If it was not co-op, I don't think I would have played as much as we did yesterday. So that's always in its favour. I played Minecraft Story Mode. I went, I'll give it a go because I'm going to be on planes and in a place where I can't sort of play my normal games. And I finished all 4 episodes in 2 days.
So much for playing it on planes.
I was surprised that, because we still got 1 more episode to go.
Episode 4 was weird.
Yeah, weird. I got about halfway through the episode and went, are they really? Is this really? And then, so that was really odd.
I think the only thing we can really say about it without spoiling things for those who haven't played it is that I think that the 5th episode is going to be quite a departure from the style of the first 4.
Correct.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah.
okay. I have to play the fourth
That was the
one.
vaguest vague that ever vague.
So many
Yeah,
baits.
it's-
But
it's
if
hard to
people
say
have played
more.
it, they'll
I
understand.
am intrigued now.
Yeah, and we can't say too much because otherwise you will
Yeah.
infer. Jamie will infer.
Okay, well, let me extrapolate here. Do you mean like the style of storytelling, the way the game is played? Like what sort of? How do you mean differentiate?
Storytelling, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some pretty big stuff that happens. So,
Also like plot related.
yeah.
Okay.
That's kind of what we can say. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And I really wanted Jamie to have played it so that we could have talked about it today before we started recording, and she didn't.
So
You had one job. Well, actually, that's not true. You had a lot of games that we told you to play.
I got distracted.
Yeah. And I must admit, there was a point yesterday where I was just like, I should tell Jamie to do this before we record. But this was Minecraft and Borderlands, and I was like, which one do we really wanted to do?
I know. I really wanted to have a crack at Borderlands before today.
Other than that, I played, obviously, You Must Build a Boat. I am stuck on one particular quest on the second last bloody place, and I just can't do it. I can't make it happen. the way, you get sort of 3 or 2 or how many ever quests, and the more quests you have each time you go into the dungeon, the harder it is, and it sort of ups your difficulty and things. And there's one quest where I have to match 2 5s in a row at the same time, and that's super difficult to set up. So I've been doing that forever, it seems, but the great thing about it is that I always find myself dancing to the music and rerunning and and it doesn't need the internet. Hooray! So you can play it on the plane and confuse the passengers next to you.
With all of the dancing.
Which I did. And then other than that, I played a very small amount of Starbound, because that was our Christmas present from Jamie, which is very cute. It's kind of like Minecraft on steroids, as far as I can tell so far. I'm very cute, and the pet that I got on my ship is a rabbit, so it's appropriate.
So Jamie obviously knew her target audience very well.
I did. I'm trying to lure in Imogen and Kate, and then you two are next.
Yeah, I'm a bird. I got to choose my clothes. I can make my own clothes. I can collect bugs. It's great. I played a little bit of 3/4 Home, which is something I only just bought, which is a bizarre game. What it is basically is a narrative game. You are driving in your car, and you have to choose like a story mode type. You have to choose your responses to certain questions, but it's real time. So while Jamie was arriving today, we just had sat with the sort of the finger on the accelerator and drove, and then at some point it will update. You'll drive past different things, and it was very highly recommended. It's very unusual. It's very pretty, very stylized, and so that was really fun. And then we played Child of Light, and I've had Child of Light on my 2 playlists since when it came out in the middle of the year. It is amazing. So luckily Jamie was here as soon as we got the little Firefly, and they said it could be cooperative. I jumped out of my seat and went to find my other Xbox controller. It's really good. The turn-based fighting is really well done. It's getting a little bit more complicated now, though, because I have a companion, an extra person. But
one that likes to blow you up, apparently, in other games. Is that going to be a problem?
No, I was a little Firefly, and what I can do is I can go and fly over the bad guys, and then if I hold down a button, I go, and I make this little constipated face. And they have
entirely adorable.
And they have to curl up and block their eyes because it's too bright, and it slows down their action so that Imogen can attack more. And it's just adorable. But then I run out of what we're calling butt juice, but I'm running out of the glow. I know.
Ollie's being so well behaved today.
It's because at one point it refers to him lighting up his butt so that he can light up some lanterns.
Right.
And yeah.
I think it should have said tush.
Tush, his little tushy, his little glowy tush.
But it's honestly,
so
I did
cute.
not expect, I knew that it was going to be pretty. I did not expect to enjoy it as much as I could. And if I had played a little bit more of it, it probably would have made my top 3 for this year. But I'm definitely looking forward to playing more of that. And I think that that's all I've played.
What platform was that on?
Xbox.
Child of Light, Xbox.
Xbox, okay. So
I think it's on Steam too.
Expiring.
Okay. Well, before I jump into mine, fun fact, Soma apparently means the parts of an organism other than the reproductive cells or the body as distinct from the soul, mind, or psyche, which probably
There you go,
sounds
that makes
like
more sense then,
what it is. Yeah.
Topical, relevant.
And Knights of the Old
It is
Republic. While we're doing
relevant.
fact checks.
Yeah.
The more you know.
Knights of the Old Republic was only released on Steam in 2009, but has been out
one
since
year off.
2003.
Oh, wow.
It came to the Mac App Store, iOS App Store in 2013.
Because that's well before
Android,
Mass Effect.
Android
Oh, yeah.
2014.
Yeah. Wow. Swings and roundabouts. That's been a long time coming. Cool.
And I've managed to avoid spoilers. All I've heard about the
What?
game is how great it is.
Really?
And how awesome the ending is and how there's twists and
Let me
all
tell
this.
you about Mad
No.
I was going to say, if you had have played more of the Old Republic, as in the MMO, I think you probably would have had things
You would have had
spoiled.
And yet still
Yeah.
how glorious that I forget details so
Oh, it's been
quickly
a
and
while,
so
let's be
thoroughly.
fair.
Because
Your world
I wouldn't
must be
remember them
magical.
anyway. I
Well,
Your
know.
word must be
I can
mad.
reread the books and watch the movies and play the games again and be like,
Bruce Willis was dead the whole time. My
oh
God.
God, how could you, man?
You're going to be the best dementia patient ever.
I know, right?
Oh, no.
Minecraft, what's this?
Yeah. I thought I remembered it, but there's some sort of mental block preventing me. Anyway, so I had to sort of organised my gaming over the last couple of weeks around overseas holiday to Bali, which was a little bit of a challenge.
Wow, poor you.
I think
Yeah.
you managed well.
I think I managed pretty well. So before heading off, I managed to get a bit of Heroes of the Storm in, a little bit more time spent on Undertale. I'm kind of at the same point as you, I think, Jamie, where I'm like, it hasn't grabbed me yet. I can see the appeal.
Yeah.
I've heard a lot of stuff about it from people online, and I think in a way that hearing that stuff has kind of spoiled it a little bit for me, where I kind of know what to expect. And I think that maybe it would have been a better experience if I didn't have that going in, because now I have not high expectations, but I have certain expectations.
Did I bring them down again for you?
Not really, because I kind of expected you to say that.
It's tricky though, because without that hype, I likely might not have heard about it.
Well, yeah,
So,
don't
you
get
know,
me wrong, I'm not
you've got
hyped about it.
Yeah.
It's just more that I think there's a few cute things that you kind of don't want to know anything about before you encounter
That's
them.
fair.
Yeah,
No, I
like,
agree with that.
the skeletons thing that Imogen mentioned already, like with the sands and papyrus.
Sands and papyrus.
Yeah, not knowing that before going in would have been probably better. So yeah, thanks.
She didn't say that much because I was still in the dark. I was like, okay, there's a skeleton called Sands and a skeleton called Papyrus.
Yeah, true,
cool.
true.
Oh, here they are.
Yeah.
Hello.
And the funny thing is, like, I haven't actually even gotten to the point where you encounter those characters yet. Like, I'm not that far in.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
have.
you haven't played for more than 10 minutes?
I have actually restarted once, so
Okay.
yeah, because I kind of
Didn't like a decision?
Well, I wanted to redo the first bit just to see how different it could be, like to test the boundaries of some of the choices.
The flower
So yeah, that
Okay.
in particular.
Apparently,
Yeah.
because I did a little bit of research online, that actually, there's certain parts of the game that if you replay them, the game recognizes that you're replaying them.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
I've heard this.
And I guess I'll have no way
That's
to know if that
fantastic.
has actually been the case or not.
It
Yeah.
did with the flower. So
Oh, really?
Yeah,
you did
that's
the same thing
the
as
one.
me. The flower was said, "You're too smart," or "Are you?" It knows.
That's
yeah.
hilarious.
The
Interesting.
game picks up on that.
Okay, all right. Well, I'll have more to say about it once I've played through further, because I
Spoil.
honestly don't feel like I'm in a
That's
position to
nice.
comment yet. Yeah. All right. So anyway, I hopped on a plane. So my plan going away was that because I'm a terrible person and need to
Not gonna argue that.
have a whole bunch of games organised just in case I get bored of spending time with my family. No, it's just because I knew I'd be up late. So I packed a bunch of stuff on my iPad going away. I put on some stuff that I'd been planning to play for a while now. The Room 1 being one of them, after sort of going through and playing through Room 3, and Room 1 was actually free for a couple of weeks, I think. So I got that while it was no cost, which is good. I put on XCOM Enemy Unknown, which I've had for a while on iPad, and I started playing that a little while ago and never really sort of did much more on it just because I kind of got distracted by other stuff, so I put that back on. I put on Tales from the Borderlands because that was the only Telltale game to date I haven't played, apart from some of the really, really old ones, like when they were doing Back to the Future and that sort of stuff. Certainly the last one of the ones probably worth paying attention to nowadays. And heard really good things about that throughout the year, so wanted to knock that off. And I also took my 3DS with me with some outstanding stuff that I hadn't finished playing yet. So I had the Zelda Link Between Worlds, which I haven't finished yet, which is a really, really good game. And also Monument Valley. So Monument Valley I was able to pick up free on the iStore, which is a game that came out, I'm pretty sure, in 2014. It's another style puzzler. And I'll start with that one because I actually managed to finish most of that on the plane over. It's not a terribly long game. The best way to describe it is it's kind of like a movement puzzler where you've got like a little figure that you're moving around on the map and you have to basically get to the end point at the end of each map. The game itself has 10 levels as part of the main game, and you have to play through them progressively as well. So, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, yada yada. There is one bonus level as part of the game which you get, which you download, which I think they did for charity. It's like a once-off that they did for a particular cause that they had on. And there is another bunch of unlockable levels, which is basically DLC. You have to pay another few dollars for to open up. Now, I smashed out the first 10 levels really fast. They were not, I didn't find them particularly hard. I think, certainly compared to what we were discussing, Imogen, with The Room 3 being like a pretty, intensive puzzler at times. If you wanted a break, maybe you didn't want to play Monument Valley. I think you probably would have actually treated Monument Valley as a break because it wasn't that hard. And the way the puzzles work is basically all of the maps that you're sort of moving your character around on are like MC Escher style drawings where you've got like all the vertical surfaces and staircases going, right way and upside down and walking on
Illusions.
walls. Yeah.
Non-Euclidean.
Yes,
It does look
that's
very
the term.
pretty.
Yeah.
It is pretty.
I've got some pictures in front of me.
Yeah, it's really, really good. The aesthetic of the game is brilliant. They've executed it really well. The artwork is very crisp and very simple. and a lot of the stuff throughout the menu screens as well carries on the same aesthetic in new and sort of creative ways that still match it. Like when you're selecting levels, for instance, it actually gives you like a kaleidoscope type view of some of the architecture, which is really cool. So yeah, I like that a lot. There's a kind of loose narrative running throughout the game as well, where you're basically like a forgotten princess who's trying to traverse this world of broken geometry, and there's spirits that you meet throughout that sort of give you a little bit of the history of what's going on. But it's really loose. Like I don't think the story was a particularly compelling part of the game. It was more just like a pleasant afterthought more than anything else. But yeah, it was really, really fun. Probably the best part about it for me was that the touch controls were really like spot on. There's a lot of iPad and tablet games in general that I think don't do a great job of touch controls. This was not one of them. This was one that probably would be top of my list for doing it right. So yeah,
I agree.
Really, really good. Yeah. Now the unlockable set of levels, you get an additional 6, 7, 8. And those 8 levels that you have to pay for, which is a little bit of a downer, but I thought it was worth it because they were way better, way better than the first lot. So a lot harder, a lot longer, a lot more involved, introduced a lot more new concepts, so it wasn't reusing the same sort of puzzle tropes again and again, and really, really enjoyed those. Although if you're going to get the game, if you're going to get Monument Valley, pick up the bonus level pack because it's pretty much what makes it.
How much was it?
Well, I mean, I downloaded the game free. I think usually it's maybe $3 US-ish.
It was $6 when I looked at it.
Oh, it might be more. Yeah. The add-on pack was either $2.99 or $3.99 US, so not too much. Yeah, still worthwhile. Yeah. Interestingly enough, the first time I actually heard about this game was actually watching House of Cards on Netflix. So because Kevin Spacey's character actually plays it in one of the episodes because he's a bit of a gamer. So yeah, it was really, really interesting. And apparently that game picked up a bunch of interest from that episode and became a bit more well-known as a result of it. So kind of cool. Yeah. All right, so what else? I'll move on to the big one now. So Tales from the Borderlands. Went in with kind of muted expectations of this game. I'd heard that it was really, really good from a bunch of different places and sites, and when it's sort of video games award season, some games tend to get talked up and you're not sure if they are actually that good or not, or whether it's just the people who are backing that corner are kind of talking it up because they want it to do well. So I went in with reasonable expectations, but nothing out of the ordinary. This is the last Telltale game that I hadn't played yet. So I've played through Wolf Among Us, I've played through both seasons of Walking Dead, played through Minecraft Story Mode, Game of Thrones. Don't think I'm forgetting anything. That's just about it in recent times. So I'll categorically say, now having finished Tales from the Borderlands, it is the best out of all of them, and not by a small margin. It is the best by a long way. And there's a few reasons why that is. And I'll list them because, oh my God.
I'm not convinced.
All right. So first and foremost, characters. The characters kick ass. Every single character in that game, including all of the supporting characters and the antagonists, are all excellent. Like, there's none of them that I think was weak. I thought they were really, really good. The voice acting for them was exceptional as well. Like, from the very, very first opening scene where, you basically come across your asshole boss, and your asshole boss is actually voiced by Patrick Warburton.
He's so fantastic.
Yeah, and anyone who doesn't recognise him, he used to be Putty in Seinfeld. He's actually done the voice for the live action and animated The Tick as well. And he's done some Family Guy stuff. Jamie, you recognised him from...
Kronk from Emperor's New Groove.
Yeah. So he's done a heap of stuff. Like, he's instantly recognisable.
Yeah, his voice is just...
hilarious, yeah.
A gem.
And that was really, really good. There's Nolan North does some voicing of one of the characters. There's also Chris Hardwick from Nerdist fame. He actually does one of them as well. And yeah, oh man, the voicing is really, really good. The animation is a lot better than the other Telltale games. Like, I find that with some of the Telltale games, there's a little bit of glitchiness that occurs from time to time. I don't know what it was about this one, but it was a hell of a lot smoother.
So I'm wondering if they're sharing assets with, is it 2K Games that
Yeah.
do Borderlands? Because...
Gearbox software?
Gearbox?
Yeah.
The art style, it just fits the Telltale game so well. I mean, it looked great in Wolf Among Us with the cell shading. And if they've managed to use some of their assets or work together on them to get the smoother gameplay, because it's beautiful. It looks like a Borderlands game. The humor it's just so Borderlands. And yet it's got the Telltale's gameplay, which I was curious how it was going to work, because Telltale games are so story driven and Borderlands is so... let's collect weapons.
Yeah.
But it's hilarious because the characters are so rich, and I've only played a few hours, or if that. I'm already sold. And there was a space of maybe in 5 minutes, I literally wanted to take 30 screenshots and send it to you guys.
Oh, yeah.
I was just losing it constantly. So funny.
The gameplay was a really interesting thing for me too, because I find that Telltale's games are awesome. Like, I really, really enjoy them, but they really are narrative experiences. Like, I wouldn't rate any of them particularly heavy on the gameplay aspects. This one, like, while it's still a Telltale game, I think that on the gameplay elements, it's a lot better than the other Telltale games.
Yes,
and the main reasons for that were because of a few things. The two main characters that you play in the game, one actually has like a bionic eye, like a cybernetic eye. And he can actually use that in any sort of environment just about to look at additional information of things that are around the room. Now, sometimes that actually plays into the objectives of what you actually need to achieve in the different environments, like you need to look for something that you wouldn't see with the naked eye. But a lot of the time, it's just filling in extra background content and humour. With where you are on the in the game, and there's some funny stuff. Like he's literally analysing assets around the room, and the commentary on those assets. It just I was pissing myself with some of it. It's so funny. Like, what was the one that you saw? It was
the dead guy. He scans a dead guy and it's status not well.
Yeah, stuff like that. Yeah. So really, really good. That plays a much bigger role later on, which I won't sort of say too much about. The other character as well, Fiona, who's like a lady con artist, dressed up in very sort of steampunky kind of trench coat clothes. She has an additional characteristic that the other... you basically play as those two characters throughout the entire thing. You switch between them for different elements of the story. Her thing is that she doesn't have the cybernetic eye, but she actually takes money. So she can actually collect money in different areas of the map. And as you collect money, you can actually spend that currency in-game on different upgrades and things, which sometimes actually move the story forward, but other times it can just change the visual aesthetic of different things that you have. Without spoiling too much, you actually later on come up against machines that actually allow you to change elements of your costume, and she can actually spend money on doing that. So if you want to look a different way, you can do it. It's really, really cool. And there's different non-aesthetic things that you can actually change also. But the amount of money that you've got is actually dependent on how much you sort of look around the map, what things you interact with, some of the choices you make with different characters too. Because she is a con artist and she actually, does sort of do that throughout the game as well. So if you pick certain dialogue options, you've got different ways to, earn money from people too, which is really, really cool. But those two factors just made the game really different. The fact that you've got like resource management and an entirely different layer of information as well to work through rather than what you normally have was really great. And I've got to say, it's the first Telltale game where the whole thing with Telltale games is it's supposed to be that your decisions with how you play the game actually impact the outcomes. A lot of the Telltale games, I find that there's a minimal amount of that happens. Like you kind of question how much difference it actually makes based on those choices. This one is obvious that that's not the case. Like, there are massive changes that happen because of things that you do. Right down to the very last episode, you can visually see how different it could have been when you finish the game, because they actually give you a recap of some things that you could have done differently at the end of the episode. Okay. So yeah, really, really good. And it's the first one that, for that reason, I'm actually going to go back and replay it. So I haven't replayed any of the other Telltale games. This one I'm going to replay.
Do you need to replay it if they've already shown you what could have happened?
Yeah, I do. I really do. I actually think I need to. Yeah, there's some pretty major plot points that I want to do something different on, which I think are going to make a big change to the way things happen. So yeah.
If you're not a Borderlands fan, would you play it?
I have not finished a Borderlands game. Oh, so yes.
You've played one?
I've played probably about a third of Borderlands 2, and that's it. So yeah. The story is the best story I have played in a video game this year. I'm not going to sugarcoat that anymore.
You haven't played The Witcher 3.
I haven't played The Witcher 3, so full disclosure on that. The story kicks ass. I was blown away by how good the story was. And it was a surprise. I didn't expect it to be that good. It was amazing. Humor was hilarious. The music that they picked for this game, so good. And some of my favourite moments of the entire game was actually, they do like the intro to each episode where they actually roll the credits and the game titles and that sort of thing. And they have like a montage of sorts each time they do that for each of the 5 episodes. And the music they play and the montage footage is just perfect. It sets the scene so well. And there's some really humorous stuff in it as well. So, but yeah, like, on every level, it just hit it out of the park for me. I was not expecting it. It was just so good. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Cannot speak highly enough about it. So, yeah, if you have not played Tales from the Borderlands, do yourself a favour and go and get it, because it is worth the ride. Really, really awesome. So, I'll talk about another game now that's not actually Tales from Borderlands. I've been raving about this one for
That
like
would
Yeah.
leave you in.
We really
Yeah,
do need
yeah.
that safe word, guys.
Oh my god. Well, actually, I haven't played a lot of Hearthstone this fortnight, strangely, so I could have, but I didn't. So,
Stop
Truly
press.
the end time.
yeah, well, I even had to jump in and actually check if I'd done the week's Tavern Brawl or not yet, and I had. So, yeah, clearly I did a little bit of it. But yeah, not that compelled to play Hearthstone at the moment. With other mobile options available, I'll probably jump back in on that on January. So, I'd started playing the Room one, didn't get too far. Played a bunch of Link Between Worlds, which is still a brilliant game. If anyone has a 3DS and doesn't have that, I highly recommend it. It's Zelda at its best from back in the SNES days, I think. So, have you guys actually ever played the original SNES Link to the Past game?
No.
No, it's probably one of the. It was the first main Zelda game after the original two that were on NES, I think. What was
Just gonna nod.
Yeah, okay. If you're not a huge Zelda fan, you
Sagely.
probably won't understand. Top-down 3D style maps,
Oh,
very
the
puzzly.
isometric, like,
Yeah,
Pokemon
yeah,
style
yeah.
thing?
Yeah, very, very cool. So yeah, that was cool. That was my gaming. There was quite a bit of it. So
Just a tad.
yeah, and got back and stayed up to 2 playing last night. So yeah, can't complain. So we don't really have a lot of news to cover this week, but we did have kind of one thing we could just quickly mention, which we've had an interesting discussion about off air over the last sort of 24 hours. So
A controversial discussion off air.
yeah, yeah. I mean, you certainly had some, a chance to blow off some steam.
Yeah, it's so what we're talking about is the issue that Steam experienced over the Christmas break 4 days ago now. There has still been no notification from Valve direct to its users. So at 125 million users, the issue with Steam was that they have confirmed in statements to other news sites that it was a caching error. They pushed out a change which basically meant that instead of you seeing your normal account information somewhere deep in the server network, they were advertising other people's information. Great thing about the internet, as soon as some people saw that was happening, they've screenshotted that and shared it with the rest of the internet saying, look what they've done.
Look at little Johnny and how much credit he's got available in his Steam wallet, and his PayPal details.
Yeah,
and
so
things.
this isn't a security breach of the Sony PlayStation or anything like that by any means, because it's not all users. It was only some users' information, but some users on Christmas Day logged into their very big winter sale to find the homepage in Russian, someone else's Steam balance, someone else's address, name, date of birth, last 4 digits of that credit card, security questions, a lot of information that some people would be quite nervous about other people having, but certainly not instantly being able to take over their lives. I've just read an article just now that said that if you play some online games and your username is synonymous with some of the games you play, and that was some of the information, that you might get some people knocking on your front door. Because the internet is the internet. The thing that annoys me is it's a small issue. For them, it was very quickly resolved by all accounts, and they brought down their store as soon as they were advised. But all of these steps they've taken would be great if they just sent me an email as a user of it and said, by the way, this has happened, there's no cause for concerns, or if it was your account, some confirmation from them saying your account information, take these following steps. This is what you can do to make sure that your information is secure and all of those sorts of things, but none of that has happened. It has been 4 days, not one single word, and that makes me angry. It is not very difficult to push an email out to your user base, which, like I said, is over 125 million people, just to say, this has happened. For more information, go here. Nothing. They've relied entirely on the Kotakus, etc. of the world, which they did make a statement to, but all they say is that it has been resolved. They refuse to admit how many people were impacted. They refuse to admit, the severity of it. And what that leads me to start to believe is that they don't know.
You got to wonder at this time of year, because it is a very slow news period, and because a lot of these sites are really sort of straining for stuff to put up, and some things that are maybe smaller than normal would get overly sensationalized because of how quiet the period is, and because it's an opportunity for them to post something other than news from back in March. Whether if this happened at another time of year, whether we'd be seeing the same sort of.
Yeah, and I have to agree. I vented, that's a small term, yesterday when it all happened. I got really angry about it. The fact that they hadn't made a statement.
Ollie was talking you down,
Yeah.
and that shit never happens.
Internet security in my past life was a big part of what I did, and so I know the change they've made. I know how dangerous a change like that can be. And so for me, it just seemed like a simple solution. If it was my company, that's what I would do. And what made me angrier is they are maybe too aware of the fact that they have quite a monopoly in the space, and that, if you're not happy with it, fine, don't use Sting. See if they care. They're making plenty of money. It's their winter sale. Or I don't know, maybe if they make a formal statement, then it hits mainstream news, and that's the thing. But I think definitely there was a threat by Anonymous, because if I say an anonymous threat, everyone's like, what? A threat by Anonymous in September. A threat by Anonymous in September to have a similar DDoS attack that they had, I think it was last year, on the Xbox and PlayStation network specifically they named. And so all of the news sites, I feel like, had a whole bunch of journalists who were sitting, we're going to say journalist, air quotes.
She's doing it now as well.
Imogen just did the finger movements.
She's copying me.
Yeah. So I think there's probably a lot of journalists who were, like I said yesterday, chomping at the bit for any story to accuse them of not being prepared or anything. So, in a little small part, maybe Valve are saying, if we don't say anything, it will just be a minority who finds out about it. They may not estimate it to be a big risk. But I would just prefer they sent that email out and said...
You sound a lot like me from yesterday.
I'm still angry about it, though. If they hold your personal information and a screw up, whatever, of theirs, releases your personal details to a third party, that should be disclosed to you. Like, full stop.
Yeah,
so,
and even if it was one single person who was impacted, it was just one person's information, if they came out and said just one person's information was advertised to a large amount, we are taking steps to resolve it, that would be fine.
See, now here's the other side. Had you not told me about this, I wouldn't even known.
But what if your personal details have been viewed by someone on the internet?
It could still be yours.
On Steam on Christmas Day. But do you feel that you should know? If someone had seen your phone number, your address,
my phone number's not on there.
Whatever. Well, like, of the assorted details, there's a lot of details.
If someone snapshotted a page that had detailed information of Ollie's sexual preferences and put it all over Reddit,
I would be impressed that anyone cared.
And maybe that's it. Maybe it's just a blip and those types of things. But it just, for me, if this is a small issue and they can't handle it well, what happens when it is a big issue?
Here's the other thing. We don't know how big it was.
Correct.
Exactly. That's an issue, though, if they can't.
No, it's not an issue for them. Or us even. It's an issue for them. If they know exactly how many people were affected and they go, oh, that was 1.5 million. Let's play this down so it only looks like 20 or 30.
Well,
that's a good
strategy.
That's a good public face strategy.
Then without disclosing numbers, do you think they not have a duty of care, though, to the individuals affected?
Depends on their licensing agreement that you agree to.
The likelihood is they don't know.
There is an article that I'm reading here, which is on Kotaku, which has a screenshot of a user who does know that his account details were leaked because he found them screenshotted on Reddit.
Wow.
He sends them a nice email and he just says, look, I understand this is a busy period and, all that kind of thing, but all I want to know is how many users saw my information, what were they able to see, do you have a plan to compensate affected users, was any of the tax information submitted for marketing purposes compromised, so I'm assuming this is a US user, and is there anything I should do differently to secure my account? Very basic questions. And maybe they could have come back and answered one of those, like how to secure your account or recommending a password change, but they didn't. They just came back and they said, as a result of a configuration change, the caching issue allowed some users to randomly see pages. We apologize for any confusion. This has since been resolved. Yeah. No answers.
I completely agree that the individuals who were impacted directly themselves deserve that.
Yeah.
Yes.
There's no doubt.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
Yeah.
I'm disagreeing that they don't need to do this giant blanket broadcast going, our system got stuffed up.
Yeah, no, but
that's not a way to build confidence. Yeah,
notify the users.
Yeah, if you go to an individual user, by the way, your thing was accessed randomly, maybe they can't identify as well. That's the other flip side. Maybe they can't identify individual people because it was a random cache issue and you can't identify who's accessed where.
Without recreating it.
Essentially. So that might be the other reason, and they don't want to do the giant, by the way, we don't know how many.
Let's screw everybody over again just so we can see how it worked.
Yeah, exactly. Or more to the fact, let's not cause mass panic or aversion of our product because we don't know if it was 10, 20, 3,000, 500,000, how many people were affected. Because if it is literally 10, 20 people, well, I'm sorry, from a business perspective, that is a drop in the ocean. They would not bat an eyelid about losing 10 or 20 customers,
and if
no matter how much bad blood
and
they
if it
generated.
was 10 customers and 3 of them happened to get screenshotted and put on Reddit, then those 3 people to the rest of the internet looks like 300. So
it looks like a lot. But as far as from a business perspective, if they lost 3 people in extreme bad blood, they don't care.
Yeah.
They've got 125 million, was it?
Yeah, and then in the middle of their winter sale, maybe.
People.
Yeah, and that's why yesterday when you were telling me about it, from a business perspective, it just doesn't sit well with me. And I know that it makes business sense, but as a user, it starts.
There is a duty of care concern.
And it's a worrying trend that's happening not just in the video game world, in generally. A lot of our personal information is out there. And you know what? Lesson here is, I'm the same as Ollie, my home address is only partial on anything that I ever have online. My phone number is never on anything that it never needs to be on. It's certainly not connected to goddamn Twitter.
Which is interesting as more and more places now actually are offering two-factor authentication for IDing. So putting your phone number in is a very common thing now.
Yeah. And I tend to sort of avoid, if I'm having to put my information in, I would probably avoid a company like Valve for something like that, knowing this incident. So this will make me more cautious, whereas something like a PayPal in the past has been very active, I feel like they deal with complaints and unauthorized access to accounts very well. So I am happy to give them my information. I feel confident in their ability to manage my information. Currently, I will still use Steam. I don't think I have much of an option. But I will think twice before giving information to Valve. And that will impact a very small amount of people, as Ollie pointed out. But and they not going to have a crap if I'm on Steam or I'm not on Steam. But it just, for me, it is worrying.
Oh no, you're allowed to be worried. I'm not saying boo on you for being concerned. How dare you have human emotion?
Really? Because sometimes.
No, that's fair. It's more that I think it's molehill turning into a mountain.
Correct, yeah.
And it is...
I think we're all disappointed that this is news.
I think that's more for me. Like, for me, it's, wow, this is what you have to talk about.
Well, in most viewed articles on Kotaku, just to give you an example, I did just find an article which title is Boy Opens PlayStation 4 at Christmas, Finds a Block of Wood with a Dick Drawn on it.
Yeah.
That's news.
Yeah.
This coming at 9.
Yeah. Oh dear. I thought one of the funniest things about this whole thing was people who were complaining and getting up in arms about the Steam issues and saying, well, are you going to extend the winter sale now as a result? Guys, it ends on the 4th of January.
It was down for 2 hours.
If you haven't decided on what you want by then, not their problem.
If you can't decide what to buy in a week, you've got bigger issues than someone hacking your account.
I have so many issues? It's so overwhelming. There's too many things on too much choice.
I've seen your list.
First world problems.
You have more issues than Time Magazine at the moment. Anyway, so
Zing.
Cool. All right. Well, that's probably all we need to talk about. That it's
let's
one
not
of those
give
things.
It any more at a time.
Yeah. Future Luke coming here with a quick update, or is it present Luke? Or technically you'll be listening to this when it's past Luke. Anyway, doesn't matter. Time travel is risky business. The important thing is that there's been a little bit of an update since our Steam discussion when it was recorded. So shortly thereafter, Valve has actually now finally apologized for the Steam Christmas disaster. And there has been a lengthy statement that's been issued, basically indicating that there was, in fact, a denial of service attack that wound up exposing the information of about, as it turns out, 34,000 users. So quite quite a bit, but they have actually made that official announcement on the platform now. Basically, a lengthy statement which covers that there was a configuration error on the 25th of December that basically resulted in some users seeing the Steam store pages generated for other users. So there was about 34,000 users that saw, store page requests which contained sensitive personal information, which may have been returned and seen by other users. And the way that it actually happened is that basically when the denial of service attacks happened, they were trying to, run around in the background and make changes to prevent that from occurring. And usually happens, every now and then around the holiday period. But in response to that specific attack, some of the caching rules managed by a Steam web caching partner were actually deployed in order to minimize the impact on Steam store users. And during the second wave of the attack, there was a incorrect arrangement or configuration that was deployed, which actually caused the error. So once it was identified, they shut the store down. There was a new configuration deployed to resolve the issues, and the store remained down until they had reviewed all of the configurations and made sure that everything was working properly. They're continuing to work on it. There's a few issues remaining, apparently. They've basically apologized to everybody whose personal information was exposed. I'm not sure if there's been any offers of recompense made to those people, but at least they've taken steps and revealed a bit of information around what actually happened and gone into a fair bit of detail. Too little, too late. You be the judge, but at least they've made some steps. Anyway, return you back to the rest of the program. All right, so we are at the end of the year. It is, in fact, our final episode for 2015. And just before we wrap up, I think we'd probably just take a very, very quick opportunity to chat about some of our highlights from the year and pick out some of our favourite games. So, without doing a best-of review, because I don't think any of us are in a position where we can, with any great authority, having played everything that's come out in 2015.
What do you mean we're not an authority?
Yeah, well, look, if we could all do this as our full-time job and we have an opportunity to play everything, maybe then. But I think, as it is, if we can chat about some of our favourites, that's probably the best.
I'd be an unproductive employee if my job was to play computer games.
Oh, look, I try.
I do not finish anything.
Yeah, all right. Well, who would like to start? Can anyone kick off with a few of their faves?
All right. It is favourites. It's not best because, like I said, especially, the two games for me that if I just played a little bit more of, I feel like would make it was honourable mentions, Child of Light and Fallout 4, because I have not played any more than 10 hours at Fallout 4. I'm very sad. I feel like they would make my top list. Skyrim was big on my list, and Fallout 4 is infinitely better than that for me currently, so surely it would have made the list. Otherwise, Ori and the Blind Forest, even though I've only played a small amount of it.
We're not judging you, but we're judging.
Oh, I'm judging you.
I'm not telling you guys any more games. I don't finish games. I'm just not going to do it.
It was worth it.
I just got bitter and had to finish it.
So bitter. I can't
your passion for Ori had a fine ending in the three of us having such great pleasure from it.
I'm going mad with joy.
You're welcome.
It set me up brilliantly for Mario Maker.
Okay. I'm so glad. Training.
Yeah, it really did.
GTA. And not because it's a great game, more because of the fun that we had playing it. And again, not a game I would have ever picked up by myself, because I'm not a shooting gun type person in video games usually. That is changing very quickly.
But you're a grenader.
I am a grenader.
Yes.
I'm very good at the grenades. I need to change that button. It was really, really good. I enjoy the fact that it's very similar to World of Warcraft in that it has the seasonal events. So even though we haven't played it for a while, I know that a lot of you jumped on over the Christmas break, which I haven't had a chance to do, and tried those and different expansion packs and all that coming out. So it's still really interesting. There will be a time, I guess, when it's not GTA 5 anymore, when it's going to be GTA 6 or what GTA New or whatever it's going to be. And then finally, my favourite by far has to have been Heroes of the Storm. Mostly because I feel like a real badass playing it, because I'm not bad at it.
It's really funny, actually, like thinking back to when we recorded our first few episodes and we actually started talking about this game. Would never in a million years have expected this to land with you guys the way it has.
I know.
Yeah.
He deliberately didn't look at me there.
Well, no.
Yeah, so much.
Yeah.
It's everything it's got all of the characters that I love playing. I feel emotionally attached to my characters. I invest a lot of time into making sure that, I'm doing what I can, and yeah, I'm really, really, really enjoying it. And I'm happy to play it hours and hours on end. Never by myself. Playing with the AI is absolute rubbish. Play with other people if you can, and hopefully find a couple of friends if you can. At the moment, I think we have enough people for a full 5v5, just us custom game.
With a bit of coordination. Yeah.
Because at this point in time, with playing it in popularity in our current sort of group, the problem is we quite commonly get 6 people who want to play.
Yeah.
And that's really awkward, where everyone just sits in silence over mumble going, I guess I can go do something else. That's fine.
You've already got 5?
Okay, I'll go play one of the other games.
I'm hoping someone will chime in with that.
Off.
Well, I'm about to get off.
Yeah. Yes. I mean,
Jumping, yeah.
yeah. So what happened last night, Jamie and I jumped on after playing Halo, and there was already 4 people, so both of us couldn't play and went and did something else
I thought they
instead.
said there was 5. I misheard.
She was like, damn, could have gotten a game.
No, you could have had a game. I would have been fine.
By the time we got into Starbound and then all of the sense she got out of me at that late time at night, it wouldn't have been worth it. But yeah, by far my favourite game of this year.
Sweet. All right, I'll jump in next. All right, so favourite games of the year. I'll start off with probably the first one, and I anticipated this one pretty early on, and it nailed me in the ways that I kind of expected it to. Yeah.
Leisure Larry.
Don't know about dirty, dark, definitely. So yeah, Ollie quite correctly surmised yesterday that it was actually in fact Batman Arkham Knight. So now for all the issues that it had on PC, I didn't buy it on PC, so I didn't get affected by any of that crap. So I was quite happily a PlayStation 4 player of the game, which meant that I had probably the smoothest, cleanest ride out of everybody, which was really, really good. So I have played through all of the Batman Arkham games. I'm a huge fan of all of them. I wouldn't say that this one was my favourite of the series. I think that probably still squarely goes to Arkham City. But it was an excellent game, and certainly in the scope of things that I played this year, it was one of my favourites. So story was excellent, voice acting as incredible as ever, had some really good twists in there, which sometimes I saw coming, sometimes I didn't. The Batmobile was a common complaint from a lot of people being a bit overused, and I tended to agree with that somewhat, but I think the rest of the game made up for it. So yeah, really, really good. So some honourable mentions before I go on to the other two. I'm going to give Ori an honourable mention because that definitely sort of came close for me. I thought
You're welcome.
I just would, yeah. I wanted a little bit more content for it, and that's going to sound strange given what I'm going to say next, but I just think that Ori and the Blind Forest was a beautiful game, but I sort of finished it and felt like I was not finished with it, if that makes sense. Like I wanted more. So yeah, I don't know.
That's the sign of a good
You still
game.
had
It
that
is a sign of a good
3%.
game, isn't it? Yeah,
Could have
yeah.
got that final 3%.
I could have got that final 3%.
Suck.
Well, there's your
Call
challenge.
yourself a completionist.
There is your challenge now.
Oh, there is no way in hell I'm finishing that game 100%. No way. I'll call it now.
All right, so that's an honourable mention. I'll give an honourable mention to Grand Theft Auto 5 Online as well, because for all the reasons that we mentioned before. If I was to do an award for game in which I was the biggest dick this year, that one would get it.
Really?
Yeah. No, it was
I
that.
think it beats Minecraft.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute.
Yeah.
He has admin rights in Minecraft.
Yeah, it's a little different.
And you've used that.
Wait. Can we
Yes.
just talk about the Ender Dragon incident of 2015, please?
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Minecraft didn't come out this year. This is off
No,
topic.
but
No,
no.
but it was Luke
It counts.
2015.
All right. Okay, so because they're not going to let me ever forget this. So,
Wait, I'm going to interject every time you're wrong.
yeah, all right, all right.
Yeah, come on.
So the Minecraft
Back.
Realms server that we play on, obviously someone had to set that up and do the whole admin thing, so that was me. And, oh
And
crap.
for Luke and his crabs.
They found you.
The police are closing in. All right. So
Crimes against gaming.
I actually had a bit of an incident when I was mucking around with man blocks, and so
Luke spawned an
everything.
Ender Dragon
Yeah.
in the overworld.
The first thing he did was
wait.
kill.
one of the things you do in the game is you move towards the end and you kill the Ender Dragon, and that's kind of like one of the big final boss fights that you can do. Now, I actually jumped in and did that early because I was bored one night, and I had kind of agreed with everybody to not do that and to do it with them as a group. So I felt kind of bad. So I worked out how to respawn the Ender Dragon. And then when I realized that I could do that, I kind of thought to myself, no, the first one I respawned was in the end.
No, he did that one properly. No, I'll vouch for him there.
I missed that.
Because that was the one we went in
Yes.
and did it. Yeah.
And then, of course, drunk with power,
Maybe
I decided to work out where else I could spawn these Ender Dragons. And putting them in the overworld apparently turned out to be a thing. However, the problem with the overworld compared to the end is that the end is a very finite sort of space and you can track where they are. You spawn one in the overworld, it flies off and then you can't find the bastard. So
The other problem is it flies through blocks. It flew through a mountain straight at me. I was like wandering along, and then an Ender Dragon burst through a mountain to attack me.
That was the second one.
yeah, I may have spawned more than one. Yeah.
He spawned two.
May.
He spawned two. So
two that I
we were
knocked
all
out.
online,
Yes.
and all we heard, because we were in the creative area when you spawned the first one. We weren't in survival.
Yeah, I was in the survival area. I caught the brunt of it.
I was offline.
It was
I
when
missed
Luke
it.
was not there that the
Yeah.
second one came, and we told
Yep.
Luke he thought we were trolling him. We would not. It destroyed our entire village.
There was a lot of Red's Turnitin rebuilding.
And to be
Poor
fair,
R2D2.
a lot of the stuff that it destroyed was my work. So you know.
Oh yeah, no, that's fair.
It was
That's
poetic.
just. It was still horrifying.
as soon as Ollie said it's running for us, run towards not stuff.
Classic words. Run away from anything you built.
So we ran towards your Sky Palace. It
Yeah, that was
didn't take
awesome.
the bait.
Cheers, guys. Anyway, so yeah, that was pretty much. I mean, there's a bit more to it, but that was the crux of it. So,
And the viral chickening marketing campaign of 2015.
oh come on, that was all right.
I'm still finding chickens.
Still finding chickens.
That's fine.
Still
Yeah.
finding. Goddamn.
My inventory is full of eggs I do not.
Chicken, everybody.
No, that's okay. Yeah, it was. Yeah. Anyway.
So the remaining top two games.
Yeah. Oh man, I've just been lambasted. All right, so yeah, Batman Arkham Knight was one of them. And Metal Gear Solid 5 I'm actually going to give to one of the others as well. I have not finished it yet. I have played through enough of it to get a feel for it and how much I like it, and it is definitely up with my favourite games of the year. It's definitely got its issues, particularly story-wise, but the gameplay is kick-ass. Yeah, exactly. There's some weird characters in that game. But as an open-world Metal Gear game, it is very solid. The mechanics are great.
See what you did there.
As a stat, yeah. Didn't mean to do that. As a shooter, a sort of stealth shooter, it's very, very good at what it does as well. And there's some really cool bits in it that, like, are wonky story-wise, but just sort of appeal to me because of how creative they are. And I'll give you a taste of one of them, which is right at the beginning of the game, so it won't be a major spoiler. You basically, the very first thing you have to do in the game is escape from a military hospital. And during that sort of whole encounter, there's actually a surgeon that comes and speaks to you about how he's going to alter your face to basically look like someone else so you're not spotted as the character that you are, like, which is Big Boss. So he goes through and you get to do the whole like face maker thing like you do in Fallout 4 and that kind of thing. And then basically the whole thing is a giant troll and the guy gets killed and it never happens. So you spend ages trying to recreate your face and then it never actually
And then it recreates your
eventuates to
face.
anything. Yeah, it's hilarious. So yeah, I think there's a purpose for that later on. I'm not sure, but it was hilarious. And the last one, which won't come as a surprise after everything I just said about it, is actually going to be Tales from the Borderlands. Look, full disclosure, I may be a little sort of biased on it at the moment because it's very, very recent in my memory. But I spent a lot of time this week thinking about it, and I'm actually fairly firmly convinced that that doesn't matter. I think it's probably in my top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. So because of everything I said, it's just such a goddamn good game.
I am looking forward to playing the rest. Very much
I
so.
don't know.
Yeah, so many laugh-worthy moments. So
I'm sure I'll pick it up at some point.
Yeah.
It's just not in this big list of other stuff.
Cool.
Well, mine don't come as any surprise. GTA Online PC, because we've had so much fun. Oh, I've adored this game for 3 years, so I think it's been solidly on top for those 3 years running.
Yeah.
On different platforms too.
I just got to say, the only reason why I wouldn't put that in my top 3 is because I actually finished the game on console before it came out on PC. So I feel like most of my enjoyment of it was already previous years, sort of thing.
It's GTA Online PC, it's not story.
Yeah, but it's still part of the same
Have you
game.
played the story at all? Oh, you
You
should.
should.
Excellent.
Add that to that little list you got going there.
And it won't cost you anything except
don't need to
time
buy it.
and life.
That's true.
Just your life essence.
And life.
Just
Also-
those 2 commodities that you need more than anything.
Just before Christmas, I splashed out and bought the super yacht. Oh, it's pimping.
Yeah.
Have
you seen it?
I need to see that at some
About
point.
the weird incident at Christmas with the guys
Oh,
in
the
hot
creepy
tub.
guys in the hot
That was
tub. Yeah,
weird.
no. So I called my boat Dirty Little Oars. And it's fantastic because I'm flying a little Australian flag off the back of it, and whenever I activate the anti-aircraft defense system,
He's Australian.
it's this horrible Aussie accented voice.
You have entered. It's awful.
We have activated our defense systems.
So it's basically the Australian accent that
It's
Americans think Australians speak
hilarious.
like.
Correct.
It's so funny. I love it.
It's Crocodile Dundee.
Yep,
Oh,
it
God.
is. My second is Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
I still have done very little storyline, but I've explored. Oh, I just love it. I just love it. And it's probably half nostalgia, but it's also just excellent. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And Ori makes my third, which again, no surprise.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Imogen. So, because I've spoken so much about those, I have a little honourable mentions list. These are games that I've hardly touched or haven't yet bought, which I believe I'm going to adore. Tales from the Borderlands. Yay. Witcher 3, obviously. I've put in maybe 6 hours. Her Story, which we're going to try and look at this afternoon. Until Dawn, which I just keep hearing amazing things about, and I need to play it. Guitar Hero Live, because I'm a sucker for the Guitar Hero games, and apparently the 6-button configuration is a huge amount of fun. And Rise of the Tomb Raider, because I love the first one. And I just need time.
So pre-orders for that just went up on Steam, so it's out on PC in March, I believe.
I'm not buying it. I'm buying it on
I'm going
Xbox.
to get on Xbox.
Yeah. Cool.
Add to my game score.
Right, Mr. Ollie.
Fair enough. I'm going to start with my honourable mentions. I'm going to reverse this shizzer. So my
Mixing
first
it up.
honourable mention is GTA Online. For all the obvious reasons that we've just mentioned. My second honourable mention will be Fallout 4. That did not actually make my top 3.
Interesting.
I'm intrigued.
I'm not 100% surprised by that, given some of the dialogue we've had about
That's
it.
fair.
Yep.
Don't get me wrong, I love that game to bits, but there are other quality games for me. And my third honourable mention, which was quite a recent addition, was Super Mario Maker. That game is a lot of fun. It is it feels like the culmination of Mario.
Yeah.
Like, it is just like, bing,
But that
done.
means it's done.
It feels like a good ending, though. If that was the final Mario game ever made, that's a brilliant way to
Which it
finish
won't be,
this.
because
Oh,
Nintendo
God, no.
has not suddenly become allergic to money.
No.
Are you sure?
Next year will be Super Mario Maker
I'm
2.
not 100%
No.
sold.
A company that's about to release Pokemon Go is not allergic to money.
No.
So,
And
Yeah.
apparently they're so fiscally responsible they could run on any losses for like 25 years.
Oh, their
before they
war
run out of
chest is
money.
epic.
Yeah,
To
they're
Japan.
just they're fine. They're gonna keep going.
Yeah. So yes, those are my honourable mentions. My top 3, Until Dawn gets in there because I liked piecing the story together, and it was a game that rewards figuring out how the characters play and then playing to those characters, which was very cool. And I enjoyed figuring out the plot. I like games that allow me to think and figure out the plot, and I figured out the plot relatively early on, and it was really satisfying when the game went, yes, you're right, and I was like, yes.
High-fived yourself.
Yeah, I high-fived myself. It was amazing.
apparently you can finish that game without losing anyone.
I lost one person, and I didn't give a shit that I did, because she was a bitch and she deserved to die.
Right. Just tell us what you really think.
Yeah, not a fan of that character. So Until Dawn, what was the other one I had? Oh yes, Bioshock Infinite.
Oh,
That was a really good game.
That
released
didn't come
this
out
year?
this year. You're cheating your ass off. No.
That was this year.
Well, really?
really?
Yeah.
I'm blown away.
It might be on a particular platform. I thought
I went through the
last year.
list of 2015 games.
Okay.
and Bioshock
It might be a
Infinite.
particular platform.
we can.
I only played it this year as well, so.
Yeah.
All right. Let's pretend.
For that
it's
reason, I almost
Mario
had
for
Dragon
start.
Age Inquisition on my list.
Yeah, that's
'Cause
true.
I played it this year.
Well, Dragon Age came out late last year, so I got very confused with the release schedule between that and Witcher because they were fairly close together, but Witcher was very early this year. So
Actually, no, 2013. Scratch Bioshock Infinite, put Fallout 4 on there.
All right, cool.
There we go.
I think
You're
one
up.
of the consoles
Except
or
you
one of the
Bioshock
platforms
Infinite, you're cut.
Yeah, sorry, Bioshock Infinite. I done good.
was a good game though.
Was, yes.
Fantastic.
that's on my to
So
play.
yeah, Until Dawn, Fallout 4, there we go. And my last one that I wanted on there was The Witcher 3.
Yep.
And that game for me was everything I wanted in a Witcher game, and it delivered.
Yeah.
Because that game is just plain good.
And I'm trying to carve out an 80-hour space on my calendar where I can fit that one in. 80? That's probably not enough. No.
I dropped
Nowhere
a lot
near.
of time into that game. Gwent will consume your soul.
Well, given how much time I wasted on Final Fantasy IX playing that stupid freaking card game that they had in that one, I think I'm probably going to lose my soul to that for sure.
Gwent is very good.
Yep.
Will it beat
Sweet.
Hearthstone?
No, I'll probably play them both at the same time.
Like, they could release Gwent as a standalone game.
There's rumours that they may be doing that.
I would not be surprised if they did. One bit.
iOS game. Oh dear God. Yep. All
They
right.
could probably release
Down
an
They're
actual.
also not allergic to money.
Yeah. Cool. All right, well, I mean, if we catch a whiff of that happening, I think we're going to be all over it like a rash. But yeah, that could be interesting. Oh, well, there's obviously a big piece that sort of follows this, which we'll probably cover next episode when we start talking about what's whetting our appetite for 2016.
I have no idea yet.
Well, I think it's probably going to be something we start
Division.
looking at. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one.
Division, XCOM 2.
Oh, Just Cause 3 I haven't played yet, even though that's out already.
Unravel. Oh.
We got stuffs to do. Got to make some homework lists. It's going to be good. Yeah, all right, we'll wrap this one up now because we are all together today, not only to record an episode, but we're actually all as a group going to play through Her Story. So I'm anticipating an extremely hilarious afternoon of camaraderie and backstabby chatting.
Arguments. And
Arguments.
also a little keep talking and nobody explodes thrown in the mix.
I want to
fun.
see Ollie kill Luke for not listening to
Me
him.
too. I know. It's gonna be
Normally,
fantastic.
there is a balcony I can throw him. He will trip.
So Luke on
There
the
is a
manual.
police car just outside.
Keep talking and nobody falls?
Yes.
No. Well, I'm a little worried now that Fallout now has made your list as opposed to before when it didn't. I might fall out of a window. All right. Cool. All right, we'll wrap this one up. So this is episode 6. If you want to get hold of us in the usual manners, check us out at our site at www.partyloaded.com. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/partyloaded, on Twitter at partyloadedshow, and our email, of course, is mail@partyloaded.com. Send us an email. We'd love to hear from you. If you've got any ideas of stuff that you'd like to see us play and chat about in the new year, then let us know because we're going to start compiling lists of that nature very, very soon. Be cool. All right, well, any final thoughts as we wrap up the year? I think overall it's been a really freaking good year of gaming. I think not only for us, but in
solid.
general.
Yes.
Yeah, sort of feels like our new console generation has kind of found its feet now and we're starting to get some quality.
Hit its stride for sure.
Yeah. And lots of PC stuff to get through. Them Steam sales. How many items are on that list in front of you?
That I have to
Imogen?
buy?
Yeah.
I think I've got 6 or so, but I'm going to go with the Humble Bundle that Ollie recommended that will have a lot of those in it. So.
All right, well, we'll do a tally of how much money we've all spent between
I'm $6.
Don't do that.
Ollie's already at $6, so
$6.
during the podcast.
Hey, Vic Spender. All right. All right, cool. Until next time, see ya.
Happy New Year.
The Party Loaded podcast is a Channel Endgame production. For this and more great gaming content, bookmark channelendgame.com.